Could what you believe about yourself impact your success or failure? Self-sabotage and self-doubt often creep their way into our minds and out of our mouths, often even before we even give ourselves the opportunity to fail. So, what if we did a better job with securing our mind with the belief that we can or that we will rather than we'll try or I can't? Today, we'll be discussing the power of having a growth mindset and why it's detrimental to our success. I'm welcoming guest entrepreneur, founder, and creator of Syracuse, New York's Parkinson's Regeneration program, Mr. Carl Sterling, and Austin, Texas, jazz singer-songwriter group Savannah Red. I'm Amanda Ashley, and this is episode 57, Mindset. Welcome to Afternoon Cocktail. And introducing to you Savannah Red's group members. We got we got Ansley and Tosin. How are you guys?
We're great. How are you?
I'm awesome. Thanks for being on a show. So, congrats on your latest release, Paper Doll. What are you going to perform for us?
Thank you. And thank you for having us. We're really honored to be here. Our
Oh,
first
totally.
called a Mint Julep Sunday afternoon, and you can hear that on our latest release, Paper Doll. Honey, sweet, your love is like the best of days. Dripping from the comb, craving that sugar taste. Slow and steady, let's get ready and make some room for a mint julep Sunday afternoon. Bumblebees are brushing off the springtime glow. Soon enough, we'll see the roses give their big show. Listen to the birdies singing their sweet tunes on a mint julep Sunday afternoon. Step up, darling, it's time to claim your prize. We've got lots of time, and you know said yes, not to trust what's growing on between us. Bourbon prancing on my tongue, that sweet caramel. We're in the lead right now, as far as I can tell. Ooh, baby, you shall know how to make me swoon for a mint julep Sunday afternoon. Step up, darling, it's time to claim your prize. We've got lots of time, and you know I said yes, not to trust what's growing on between us. Bourbon prancing on my tongue, that sweet caramel. We're in the lead right now, as far as I can tell. Ooh, baby, you shall know how to make me swoon for a mint julep Sunday afternoon. A mint julep Sunday afternoon. A mint julep Sunday afternoon.
Nice job, you guys. I love it. So cool. Bravo. So, how many pieces are in your band, the whole Savannah Red?
We've got 5.
Five
So
pieces.
because of COVID, not everybody can be here.
Oh, yeah, I get it. And I mean, I'm sure rehearsals kind of been sidetracked a little bit, or are you guys still pre-rehearsing?
Yeah, I mean, some of our other band members are in other projects, so they have their own practice schedule. But as far as we go, some of our bandmates have been affected by COVID, so we've kind of
Oh, yes.
taken a back seat to performing. Really, this is actually our first performance since everything started. So
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, were you all performing quite a bit before COVID hit?
pretty regularly. So
What's the Austin, Texas jazz scene like?
there's some incredible jazz musicians in Austin. Austin's more, I think, probably known for more of the country rock scene, but it has a really beautiful jazz scene as well, and hip hop. So those are some of the ones that are kind of underground as well.
Austin's so interesting to me. It's like it just seems like a melting pot of genres, like whereas Nashville, it's more like pop singer, songwriter, like actually that's not really true either because I've seen like some really great reggae out of Nashville, and other, genres as well. But have you guys ever been to Nashville? Have you been able to make that comparison of the comparison of the music cities?
So I'm from Georgia, and I moved
Okay.
to Austin 13 years ago. And before I even came to Austin, I was obsessed with Nashville. I was like, Nashville is the place to be. I love Nashville. There's music everywhere. I'm into it. I had friends who lived there. So I wanted to move there and start a coffee shop. And I had a whole dream for Nashville. And then a friend of mine said, "Hey, come visit me in Austin. I think you'd really like it." And it was kind of like I got here and I was like, Nashville, who? It really drew me in. It's a very cerebral city. It's very artistic. For even though with all the changes, there's still so much heart here. And I just really fell in love with it whenever I got here. So,
I've been to Austin once and I really enjoyed my time there. I was there for South by Southwest. This was probably like 2015. And it was great. I want to go back. I feel like I'd love to experience it outside of like a big festival like that, to get like more of a feel of what it's like. But I saw some really cool things and really great music. But yeah, it's so mixed, whereas you see a little bit, a lot more, a bit of country, like out in like down Broadway in Nashville. So tell us a little bit about your CD. This is your first CD that you've put out. Congratulations. That's so super exciting. How do you feel?
I feel amazing. Look at
Yeah.
that. I was thinking about this whenever you were sending me the information. We were kind of talking about the theme for today and the whole mindset thing. That couldn't tie in more perfectly with this album project.
Yeah. How so?
We started a GoFundMe because we thought that we were gonna record the album 5 years ago. I mean,
Oh, wow.
that's forever, especially in music time, because things are coming out all the time. You got to be relevant, you got to be quick, got to do it, put it out. And we just kept coming upon obstacles and obstacles and running into walls. I mean, even up until the last second, it was like, what is going on with this album? What is happening? So we had to do, or I particularly had to do a lot of mindset work for this because I mean, it's been my dream forever to not only just be a musician who travels and gigs and that kind of stuff, but also to have a product that I can share and that other people can, listen to my music on, lying on their bed, dreaming about their future. I don't know. That's what I used to do.
Yeah.
A little snapshot into baby Ansley. So, I just really wanted to get it out there. And it's kind of a, big marker for as musicians to have a product, right? That's
Sure. To me, it's like I don't care what level. I mean, I don't care what level you're at. To say you've made the effort to put out work that's going to outlive you, to me is like powerful. I always say this to like one of my friends is like, yeah, I guess I'm a little old to like be recording a CD. But I was like, no, why say that? Like, good for you for making the effort to really capture a body of work that you're proud of, and for you guys to be able to push it and eventually, I'm sure, tour with it and do more. I mean, not only do you reap the benefits of that, but you have something, a piece of work to take pride in. That's wonderful.
Thank you. Yes, and it's it's a lot of work to put these things out. I guess I never realized it because, there's a band, they make a CD, you buy the CD, that's it, right? But I didn't realize all the stuff that comes, behind it, all the back of the house, right? It's kind of like when you're in a
Sure.
restaurant, the food's there, it looks amazing, you eat it, and you're like, yes, life is good. But you don't realize that there's a cook in the back getting yelled at for not being fast enough. They probably were short on something. That's kind of how our restaurant is. Somebody's getting
So
yelled
cool.
at. Just kidding. It's, it's a labor of love, and it's work, and it's I feel like it's my purpose to share
Share
music.
your music, yeah, and to share your soul. When you have a gift like writing songs, and that's the best part, of being a songwriter, to just put it out there, and for somebody, even if it like impacts one person, or one person is just feeling what you're saying, and it helps them in some way. Like, what's more powerful than that, right? Like, that's great. It's so cool. Could you tell me, oh, I did want to ask. So you said like you felt like you needed to get yourself in the right mindset to push us forward. Did you feel like you experienced, because it took so long, like were there periods of self-doubt or something that was just making you question, is this worth putting out, or are people going to care? Like, did you ever like come across that bridge?
So I look at Tosin's been here for the whole ride. I mean, he had to leave for one point, and I think that was part of the whole journey. I was like, "No, please don't go to coding school. I need you." And he's like, "I gotta eat, so gotta go. Bye." And then he
Oh.
came back because 5 years, right? Um, and even throughout that time, I was like, "Is this ever gonna happen?"
That's the other type of 1 a.m. phone call.
I mean, I was like, I should just quit music altogether. I mean, we pretty much recorded this album 3 times.
Yeah.
This is the third recording. We
Four
had,
times a week at the time we did our own.
oh, I can't even talk about that. So, so I mean, and as someone who has, struggled with depression in the past, and COVID, hello, I'm sure a lot of people have
Yeah.
experienced. There were times where I was like, "Am I even gonna make it to see this thing out?" And that's just the reality of a lot of artists too. Unfortunately, we get so tied up into these things, and then when depression hits, it's just like, what is it all worth? What's it all for? So
Ye- Yeah, it's so easy to question yourself, and I think as artists, like we're always seeking validity somewhere, like that's why we get in front of people and perform, and then when all of a sudden that's stripped away, and then panic sets in with all the outside stuff that's happening around us, it's easy to go down a dark tunnel for a moment. I think that's very normal. Can you tell me? I've been dying to ask you, but what is the paper doll? Like, what's the concept behind that?
so I tend to be inspired by tangible things every now and then, and I had this idea when I don't even know if it was going to be called Paper Doll. The song wasn't even written, but I had a friend who's an artist, and I said, "Hey, why don't we make a paper doll as part of my merch?" I brought that to you to show you. I don't know if you could see it. So it's like
Oh, that's so cool.
of me. This is an actual dress that I made at one point. I don't know, the background's kind of blocking it out. So whenever I was going to the meeting about the paper doll, I had this, "I am just your paper doll." It's like, whoa, song inspiration. So, so then the song started, and I wrote the song that's basically my feminist anthem that says, "Yeah, I might look cute, but I'm also tough, and I have a brain, I have a mind, and maybe you can buy me a dress, but you can't tell me what to think or who to be or what to say." So it's kind of like the fragility of being a female, and then also being a feminine female, whatever that embodies. And then also living in today's society where you're telling a woman to smile, it's like, no, I'm going to be me. I'm going to look like me. Sure, you can have your own opinions and stuff, but don't project that onto me.
I love it. I knew there was something significant behind it, and it was killing me. I couldn't wait to ask you that. So, Ansley, is your flower game always as good as mine? Because I noticed that you always have like a bow or or something.
I think there was one time I even, wear flowers in my hair, just normally. But there's one time where Tosin was like, "Is that Ansley? There's nothing flowery on your head." What is that? A little
That's so funny.
less these days, but because don't really go anywhere. But I was in love with singers of the 30s and 40s, Billie Holiday, of course,
Yeah.
and who they just always had these beautiful flowers and just
Headpieces. Yeah.
and I've made a lot of them in the past, so I was like, hey, I could make my own or I could get some. This is actually by my friend Laura Del Villaggio of Millie Star. She's a milliner here in Austin. So I just love it. It's part of the whole jazz singer thing. So
Yeah, definitely. So I always rock a flower too. And honestly, it's like such a big part of me. Like I think people think I just wear it for show, but like my neighbors, like we moved into our house 2 years ago and they were like, "Wow, you actually really wear a flower all the time." It's just I take it off before bed. I put it on like when I get out of the shower, it just became like a part of me, but a lot of the inspiration was Billie Holiday, and then also like my like horrible waitressing outfit. I felt like I needed something to color up color up like our uniform at the time, and I started wearing it. And all my customers that liked me, they couldn't remember my name, but they could remember the girl with the flower in her hair. So they would ask for, can I have, I would like to have that waitress, the girl with the flower in her hair. And I was like, ah. So it pays off in many ways. It's good. I love seeing you rock it too. It's great. Well, guys, where can our audience be directed to your music and download your new album? Tell us.
sure. So you can go to our website. It's savannahredmusic.com. And that's Savannah with two N's and an H, like the city. I'm from an hour away from Statesboro, Georgia, or an hour away from Savannah, Georgia, in Statesboro, Georgia. So uh, Savannah Red was better than Statesboro Red as a stage name. So if you think of our website, it's Savannah like the city, red like the color, and then music.com.
Love it. Well, thank you guys so much for performing for us today, and best wishes to you on your new album release. We're going to hear more from Ansley and Tosin in the end of our program. Before I bring out the amazing Carl Sterling, I just want to throw out a shout to Afternoon Cocktails Season 3 sponsors. Thank you to Electronic Merchant Systems of New York for your support in our program. If you guys need any help with accepting credit card payments, make sure you see the charge card guys. Thank you to Compere Rochester for all you do for our community and for supporting our show. And big thanks to Salvatore's Pizzeria. Make sure you get your Wednesday or Monday night pizza orders in through Salvatore's. Man, my brain is not functioning today. Carl, is yours? I hope you're doing better than me.
I'm okay today, I think.
Yeah, I definitely got like the Mondays. Like I can't talk. I don't know. But anyway, how are you, you amazing man? I'm so proud of you and seeing all that you're doing.
I'm just a guy. By the way, I enjoyed the song I heard from Savannah Red. Thank you for that.
I knew you would love them.
And you know what else? I did contemporary jazz mostly for, was half of what the gigs I did. And I did some gigs in Austin. Last time was maybe 8 years ago at the Elephant Room on South Congress.
I've heard
And
of the
I wonder
Elephant
if they
Room.
are familiar with that. I don't know if it's still there or not, but that was a cool little place to play.
Yeah, Austin is full of like really cool music venues for sure.
Yeah,
So
I've worked there a
Carl,
lot. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I worked there teaching the Parkinson's course that I wrote too, and every time I'm going out to check things out. It's a good music scene. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, well, so
Hi.
Carl originally, I mean, like I met Carl through music moons ago. I mean, maybe like a moon ago, but it was Carl is actually the original member, the OG of Amanda Ashley Trio. So, Carl, I mean, I appreciate seeing. I mean, you were always into training and always like very into physical training. So to see how you've taken your passion for music, your passion for fitness, and then combining it with your passion for helping people. It's really incredible. I'm so proud of you. Can you tell our audience a little bit about Parkinson's regeneration training and what it is that you do?
Oh, sure. And before I do, I was trying to remember, how did we meet exactly? And we don't have
It
to
was
talk about that, but I can't remember the exact
I remember
how.
it was like a weird show that I played like some like I felt like it was like a Chinese buffet place in
Yes,
Syracuse. Do you remember? And then I met you and Ken that night. You
that's right.
introduced me to Ken, and you guys were like, "Hey, like if you come out to
I
Syracuse, I
know.
want to play with you." I'm
You
like,
probably
"Okay,
played in the little bar in the back of the sushi place.
yes, yeah,
Joe Reddick's sports bar. Yeah. And we were playing there a lot, he and I were. So, okay. Well, geez, I don't know when that was, but it's got to be like 10 years at least,
oh yeah,
maybe.
I'm probably 10."
So I was
So you're
starting to get a little bit burned out being a musician. I really didn't want to do that for a living anymore. Um, Actually, for a long time, I was looking for other avenues. I didn't really believe I was capable of doing anything else, honestly. And speaking of depression, I can relate to that. I've been there clinically, although that was many years ago, decades now, a couple. But that self doubt I lived with for so long, and a part of it was I was very overweight. I was a big boy. I was actually having some health problems that I never told anybody about. But what happened is that I'll try to tell you in like the 1 minute version. I went to the doctor. He said, "Dude, you're close to COPD." I never smoked, but smoky bars. I played for at least 20 something years in those
yeah.
every night, almost every night. So there's almost having COPD, chronic upper respiratory infections, way overweight, um, high blood pressure, and pre-diabetic. And I was so afraid when I got done with that physical, I called a trainer who I know. I started up the next day. I borrowed money to go. He's also a dietitian. And 6 months later, I felt really good, 35 pounds lighter. And I thought, I'm going to keep going. I've got to lose more because I was still pretty big and borderline health stuff. But after a year and really dropping about twice that much weight, I decided, I think I want to be a trainer. So I did a National Academy of Sports Medicine certification, which is recognized as, a decent one. I think it's pretty good. I started training people. I felt like I'd learned so much and been inspired. I thought maybe I could help people and that would be gratifying to me to see somebody else improve the quality of your life in some way. But after 2 years of that, I was like, I don't want to just train. I want to offer more. So I applied and got into a program at Syracuse University for nutrition. And so the journey, actually, then they hired me part-time to be a trainer there, which is really cool because now everything was on campus except for sleeping at night. So I'm up there. One of my professors, economics professor, Jerry Evensky, and there's no problem with me talking about him. He asked me to be his trainer. And like I was saying off camera before, I didn't know what to do, but I said yes because I knew I could do something. So I got advice from my son and some others who had done a lot of research. My son was doing his PhD. He directed me to people, and then it turned into geeky Carl, nerdy Carl had to learn. And I've been lucky because I've been able to actually write this course, the Parkinson's Regeneration training course, and put out a book this year, which is the same title as the course that I've traveled all over the world and taught. I mean, it was a process to get that going, but eventually there was a demand, and my research in it has been so vast. I'm still doing every day. That now it's what I do, and I really, really love it, and it doesn't really feel like work.
It's amazing. I mean, you've been traveling all around the country and the world, you know, doing some public speaking. And in your public speaking, are you also kind of like selling your book?
Well, I took pre-orders
Yeah.
because it came out in June, so I fulfilled the pre-orders. But I so the answer technically is no, because I didn't have it to offer yet. Then COVID came along, and I couldn't really go anywhere. And I wanted to reduce my travel a lot, anyways. And I have a team that
Yeah.
travels. Once COVID opens, they'll get back to traveling. 3 instructors who are great friends. They've traveled and taught without me. So we'll get the book at workshops when we start resuming. We do like Zoom online workshops. Our next one's first weekend of November, 7th and 8th. And so, we teach the stuff that we would in a live workshops, and it's interactive. It's actually, those have gone very well. And the book, I'm really grateful that the book's been well received. Reviews are very, very good. And the sales are pretty strong. Like on Amazon, we're moving quite a few copies. I'm very happy.
Carl, you should be happy. It's wonderful what you're doing. And you're putting out really good information out there for people that are maybe struggling with the diagnosis or, trying to see the light in a diagnosis or finding the light, that you're really, you haven't really gotten much into it, but like, what the whole mindset theme today, I can't think of a more positive example for growth mindset than your program. Like you're taking people that are probably told that they'll never be able to do something ever again in their life, and you're showing them, no, we can, we can bring life back to you. This isn't the end all.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Oh, sure. Yeah. There's so many stories, but I have a couple of favorite ones. Part of what I really decided I liked doing this work and I wanted to teach, I had done so much research, and what I found is that of all the Parkinson's programs that are available, you get rock steady boxing, power moves, punching out Parkinson's, dancing for Parkinson's, and they're all very good. So, and I say this respectfully to them because they're all serving a purpose. They're getting people out there. They're getting people active. And people with Parkinson's, many times they withdraw from socializing because they're self-conscious about whatever, maybe falling down or the tremors, if they have a tremor. But I feel like there's so much lacking. And based on my experience attending different, pretty outside the box, advanced, I would say, educational events as a trainer where I could work with anyone in a different and more effective manner, I really thought there was a big gap. So my mission is to fill the gap between with intervention strategies and techniques that a lot of other programs leave out, and do the best I can. We're always trying to fill it. But what this has led to, though, in many, many cases, countless times, are a classic example would be my friend Angeles, and she's in Monterrey, Mexico, and I went there 2.5 years ago. I was keynote speaker at a Parkinson symposium, and then I had a 45-minute workout to do afterwards with whoever wanted to attend. So I get done, I see her out in the audience, she's like this. She did not want to be there. I had a translator and all that, but she opened up when she heard some new information. What was even better, though, is when we get her and like 50 or so other people out on the floor after I change out of my suit and tie and I get in there. I didn't know what I was going to do till I got right in front of them. I'm like, okay, so does anyone here, like, what's your first challenge of the day? Hands went up for some of them. I open my eyes and I can't roll over in bed. This is not uncommon to hear this. Imagine something so simple, although simple does not always mean easy. So get them on the floor. I got a lot of people spotting people because we're concerned with falls and Parkinson's. So they're all on the floor. I look over, I teach a particular rolling pattern, because there actually are, you can learn how to roll. And a lot of people, if they lose the ability, they don't think of leveraging a certain way. But I look over, and this lady, Angeles, whose name I did not know yet, is with her daughter and her husband, and she's crying. I said, oh, está bien, ¿cómo está? Está bien. Oh, gracias. And so later on, I found out at about 42 years old, she was at the time. That was the first time in 5 years that she rolled over by herself with no assistance.
Wow.
So what happened, what's even more important than the rolling, is she not only did that happen, but what happened after that was she went from feeling completely depressed and hopeless to literally unstoppable. And I even got video from her this morning doing ballet.
What?
I mean, we're talking this morning. I usually hear from her just about every day. And this is a woman who is bedridden for most of 2017 by choice. She could have done things, but she didn't know what to do. So now she started running again for the first time in 15 years. She teaches with us now at the workshops, and she takes us through her really cool routines. So, that right here, I have to say, it's better than any standing ovation I ever got being a drummer, which was a total trip, open for Spider Gyra, at the Glenora Winery. Spider Gyra was there, or the Rippingtons, and we're opening, and they're like, we sell 100 CDs. Great. I mean, yeah, but this is just, I have a lot of stories like that, but so that's an example, though.
Carl, does it blow your mind, with all the research you've been doing, just learning about the human brain? When you think about, there's so many parts of it that bewilder me, it's just the psychological part of it too, with what you're doing physically and how, certain things have to be triggered up there for that to physically be happening, right? But also psychologically, how often we tell ourselves out of fear that we can't do it, that we're unable to do it. And those simple things like rolling out of bed, something that I've now feel like I've taken for granted, all this time up until this story. Yeah. But I can't even imagine, to hear that from somebody and then to look at a room full of people that are yeah, that is probably the top thing. I don't know. It's got to blow your mind. I mean, what's the most interesting thing that you've learned in all your research that just kind of?
Well, I've been researching the brain a lot, but pretty much since August 1st this year, I have solely been, and I've been researching this for years, but this is all I do now on purpose because, there's a book I just got from Dr. David Eagleman, who's a Stanford professor, and I learned about him through Dr. Andrew Huberman, who I first hired on the Joe Rogan show. I mean, a neuroscientist. The other guy's a neuroscientist. This book is called Live Wired. And, I have dozens and dozens of books. I don't know, you can't see my bookshelf, but about the brain. I think continually the thing that I'm most blown away by is the ability of the brain to create. And we can accelerate this in our actions and intentionally with hyper focus and enough rest. We can actually cause by training certain ways. And I'm talking that the sky's the limit, whether it's cognitive training during alone or, games, thinking stuff, challenging yourself cognitively, or doing it during focused movement so that you get better at multitasking, so that when you take it out the door and you go to Wegmans and you get bumped by somebody, you don't fall down because you're used to being distracted and your brain develops. So this is the mojo here, is the neural circuitry that is created in the brain by itself, but also intentionally by us and as individuals. We can decide, we can make a decision that we want to learn how to do something and then go and do it. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. If we get proper guidance, we might learn ways to do it better. We might learn things we never thought we could learn because we didn't know that we didn't know about it. So you can't even know you can't do something if you don't know that you could have done it, if that makes any sense. And so it's, the brain is moldable. The brain is absolutely fascinating. And, you know, Tosin's playing the piano. I have a piano here. You play the piano. I'm sorry, is it Ainsley?
Ansley.
Ansley, she's singing. I probably won't ever try to sing, but I'd like to play the piano. I know I can do it if I sit down and do it, you know, because my brain, it will learn, and it's all here. It's not here. It's here. And then this tells these what to do. Of course, they do feed each other, but the brain is doing the work, and it is moldable, trainable. It's called neuroplasticity. So it's just amazing. That's the thing that blows me away the most is, especially, just one more add on, not to talk too much. When I see other people, like Angeles today sent me another video of something else she did. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she took a concept that I teach and she just took it to another level. It's like, now I have to teach everybody to do this because I never would have thought of that. But and when you get more than one person together in a room, especially if they have various experiences or on a Zoom call these days, they come with their experience and their knowledge, and we share. And it's like, you know, I probably learn more than anybody at any workshop I teach. So the brain is my most favorite thing to study, learn about, and work with.
Yeah, I'm continually fascinated about, you know, like I through teaching, you know, I realized, I mean, I teach piano, beginner guitar, and voice. And through teaching, you know, like all the different students, different ages that I have, it really boils down to everybody just processes information so differently, you know, and how can I get through to this person in the most effective way? You know, because how I teach one person is going to be completely different than how I try to teach the next, you know. I don't know. It's really interesting.
It is.
Carl, what, I mean, so you got your book, right? But can you tell us real quick about the Dream Project?
The Dream CD. Well, yeah. So the story is that a friend of mine for many, many years, a bass player named Jimmy Haslip, probably best known for his work with Yellow Jackets, but he's worked with everyone from Chaka Khan and Al Jarreau to Herbie Hancock. I mean, the list goes on and on. He's one of the most genuinely authentically just amazing people I've met, because he's just so nice, so considerate. He called me one day about 2.5 years ago. He's like, I got a friend who has Parkinson's. He's a guitar player. The tremor's getting in the way of the picking because the right hand was tremoring, and he's right-handed, you know, with the pick. Do you mind if would you mind helping him out? So no. And then he tells me who it is. Well, it's a guitar player who's on so many records that I have. His name is Jeff Richman. And over here, I have about 15 CDs of Jeff because I've been following since the early 90s. So I talk with Jeff, and it's totally surreal that I'm talking to like a musical hero, but, you know, another great guy. So he's in LA, north of there. And this was like in August, 2 years ago, 3 years, I don't know. So I said, you know, in February, I'm going to be out in LA. I have to teach my Parkinson. So come be my guest, you know. So he said, okay, will you come here? Then we have to jam. I'm like, dude, man, I haven't picked up the sticks in like 4 years. So I probably not going to do that. He says, no, you will, and we will. In fact, there's a recording studio down by my house. Well, it ended up, long story short, is we brought Jimmy in to be the producer and bass player. He has Scott Kinsey on keyboards, who's just one of my idols. I just love the guy. Just some great people. Peter Erskine is an idol of mine, so I've known since I was 11, and a friend. He drums guest on 2 songs. So Jimmy, Scott, Jeff Richmond, and others. And what it was is the music, the songs are picked by people who live with Parkinson's with a positive message for people with Parkinson's and people everywhere. And all proceeds from this go to a nonprofit that I started. And so do the book proceeds, which now the book, of course, go to thepdbook.com, thepdbook.com. It's available in English and Spanish. You can search for it on Yahoo as well. But if you get it at the site, I said I signed the copy and throw in a free copy of the CD for you. So, yeah,
Nice,
English,
good work.
Spanish, big book, support website to go with the book, which is divided up by chapters so that it's easy to go through, and you have a lot of videos of demonstrations. So all proceeds from this in the book, and then we donate money to people and associations in need all over the world.
Super
So that's
awesome,
how that
Carl.
whole thing came out. That's how the whole thing came to be.
I love it. Well, congratulations on the book, on the CD, on life, just school and life. Great to see you again. Tell us where our audience could be directed to Parkinson's, your website.
Oh, sure. If you don't mind, I just want to say to Ensley and Tosin, I can relate to wondering if it'll ever get done.
I could definitely relate to that
I'm
too.
telling you, man, the delays. But you know what? I had lucky guidance through this. So the program I teach, what we do is we have people just make a donation to the foundation. It's all on the website. If they want to attend the workshop as a caregiver, health aide, professional, movement professional, personal Parkinson's, whatever, there's just one on the schedule now, early November. So that website is Parkinson's Regeneration Training, all one word. Parkinson's Regeneration Training, spelled out just like it sounds, .com. Everything is there. A link to get the book, the CD, a link to videos, what we do, why we do it, how we do it, and signing up for a workshop too if they want to. So
Good stuff, Carl. Well,
thank you. Thanks for
rock.
having me. It's really good to see you again, and I appreciate this opportunity, and lovely to meet your guests also, Savannah Red.
Thank you. Well, hopefully see you again in life soon when all this crazy
so.
subsides, hopefully. And
so.
Yeah, keep in touch regardless. Hey, we got to bring Ansley and Tosin back.
Yeah.
You guys ready to rock us out with one more song? You guys are muted.
Forgot that we were not muted. It was great to meet you too, Carl. It was really cool to hear about your music journey as well. So thank you. All right, so we're gonna end with our Halloween love song.
Ooh,
It's the season. I'm taking up howling at the moon. If that's the only way to get to you. Those bites on your neck can be a tattoo. So I am taking up howling at the moon. You only come out after midnight. Our love can only take its form during the twilight. Nocturnal Prince Charming, could it be too soon for me to start howling at the moon? How this morning glory butterfly fell in love with taking up howling at the moon. If that's the only way to get to you, those spikes on your neck can be a tattoo. So I am taking up howling at the moon. How this morning glory butterfly fell in love with the nightshade guy. Only God knows what to do. So I guess I'm taking up howling at the moon.
Nice work, you two. That was Savannah Red, straight out of Austin, Texas. Make sure you go download their latest release, and first release, Paper Doll. Thank you guys so much for being on our show. And big thank you again to Carl Sterling. So today's theme was all about mindset. And when I was researching this topic, growth mindset really stood out to me, because I think so often times in life we go through these periods of self-doubt or questioning our confidence, that we fall victim to ourselves. My advice is listen to yourself when you speak. So years ago, a very good friend of mine and a former boss, he began pointing out how often I used the word try. Every time I'd subconsciously mutter the words, he'd reply sternly, "You'd what?" I gotta be the first to admit, it was the most annoying thing. But for sure, he got my attention. And I've since changed my speech and am extremely grateful for the lesson he had taught me, because it is true. We give ourselves these little verbal outs in life because, truthfully, when we fear the unknown or a challenge that's presented to us, our confidence is questioned, and so is our ability as to whether or not we'll be able to perform or deliver as expected. If we're constantly telling ourselves no, even before making the first attempt, we run the risk of stifling our growth and not seeing our way to our fullest potential. We learn and grow by treading unfamiliar territory, by experimenting, by taking on those intimidating challenges that life presents us. We mustn't fear the one thing that could benefit our future. Disappointment and failure are a natural part of our progression, and something every successful person has encountered themselves. So fix your mind on growth and witness the world change around you. Accept the challenges that lay ahead as a blessing and as an opportunity to prove your best to yourself and to those around you, because you are strong, you are capable, as long as you remain willing. Thank you guys so much. Afternoon Cocktail is now available on iTunes, Spotify, all podcasting outlets. So make sure you download or catch up on our earlier episodes. Big thank you to Beau Productions, and shout out to James Farley of Northwestern Mutual, to Maiden Voyage Studios. Thanks again to Compure Rochester, Salvatore's Pizzeria, and Electronic Merchant Systems. We will see you guys back here this Wednesday. I hope you have a great Monday. Thank you.